The city skyline shimmered beneath the rooftop lights of Aurum, an exclusive members-only restaurant known for its $2,000 tasting menus and 6-month reservation waitlist. At a corner table with a view of the twinkling bay, Vincent Leclerc, a billionaire venture capitalist, leaned back in his chair with a smirk. His perfectly tailored suit, custom Rolex, and smug aura screamed power. Opposite him, two junior partners hung on his every word as he devoured a plate of Wagyu steak drizzled with gold leaf truffle glaze. The waiter approached again, bowing slightly. "Would you like anything else, sir?" Vincent waved him off. "Just bring me your rarest red. We're celebrating." He was used to being celebrated. Deals closed. Competitors crushed. Investors begging to be let in. Life, for Vincent, had always been served to him on a platinum platter. Tonight was no different. That was until a soft voice, almost too quiet to notice, broke through the ambient rooftop music. "Just a bite, sir?" Vincent froze, mid-pour. The voice came from behind him, timid, shaking, familiar. He turned slowly, and there she was, a thin, pale girl in a too-big hoodie, jeans frayed at the hem, standing barefoot on the elegant marble floor, eyes wide with hunger. Her hands clutched her stomach, trembling. It wasn't the intrusion that stunned Vincent. It was the face. The girl he thought he'd never see again. His niece, Clara. The same girl whose mother, his sister, he'd cut off from the family 10 years ago after a scandal that nearly ruined his career. She shouldn't be here. She wasn't supposed to exist in his world anymore. Yet, here she was, asking for a bite of his food. Security began moving before Vincent raised a hand to stop them. "Wait," he said, voice dry. Clara's eyes flicked from him to the guards, and she instinctively backed away. But hunger outweighed fear. Her lips quivered. I saw the food," she whispered. "I wasn't trying to steal. I just thought maybe someone would share." The rich diners nearby stared, some scoffing, others pulling out phones. Vincent's partners exchanged uncomfortable glances. "She's just a street kid," one muttered. But Vincent knew better. Clara was no stranger. She was blood. She'd been 4 when he last saw her, sitting in the back seat of a car with her mother, watching silently as he slammed the door and walked away from their lives forever. He had paid them off, hush money to keep the family secret from leaking. Her mother had refused to stay quiet. And now this. "Where's your mother?" he asked. Clara looked down. "She died 2 winters ago." The air shifted. The waiter stepped forward. "Shall I call security, Mr. Leclerc?" "No," Vincent replied coldly. "Bring her a plate." The entire table went quiet. Even Clara looked unsure. "You're letting her stay?" the partner asked. Vincent didn't answer. His eyes stayed locked on the girl, older now, but with the same amber-flecked eyes as his sister. Eyes that had haunted him for years. When the food arrived, Clara sat on the edge of the chair as if afraid it would disappear. She didn't touch the utensils. She picked up a small piece of steak with her fingers and bit slowly, eyes closing with relief. "You're not here by accident," Vincent said under his breath. Clara opened her eyes. "No, I'm not." They sat in silence for a long moment. The wind rustled napkins. The wine stayed untouched. Vincent finally leaned in. "You've come for something. What is it?" Clara didn't flinch. "I didn't come for money," she said. "I came for answers." Vincent blinked. "Answers?" Clara nodded. "My mother told me something before she died. About why you cut her off. About what happened to Grandpa's estate." Vincent's jaw tightened. "That's ancient history," he said. "Not to me." She said she had proof, emails, documents. She said you forged a clause that disinherited her. The color drained from his face. "She told me to find you if anything happened," Clara continued, "and to look in her old safety deposit box." Vincent looked around, aware of the stares from surrounding tables. His partners, wide-eyed, stood abruptly, muttering excuses about needing air. Now it was just the two of them. "You think you know everything, don't you?" he hissed. "I know you're not the hero you pretend to be." He grabbed his glass, but didn't drink. "You don't understand what I saved this family from. Your mother, she was reckless. She would have destroyed the legacy. I did what had to be done." Clara didn't blink. "And now you eat gold steak on rooftops while we slept in our car." Silence. Finally, she pulled something from her hoodie, a folded paper, yellowed and worn. She slid it across the table. Vincent stared at it. His own signature stared back, and beneath it, a date, dated 3 weeks after the estate hearing. A forged document, one he thought he had destroyed. His throat went dry. "How did you get this?" he asked. Clara stood, her eyes steady. "My mother kept it, and now, so do I." Vincent's fingers trembled as he held the document. Everything he'd buried, every selfish decision, every legal loophole, every lie he'd wrapped in luxury, was sitting in plain sight. That yellowed page was a ticking bomb, a single copy that could unwind the empire he'd spent decades building. "You can't possibly understand what this means," he muttered. "I understand more than you think," Clara said softly. "I understand that while you were buying watches worth my mother's rent, she was selling her blood plasma to keep me fed." Vincent swallowed hard. "What do you want?" The old Vincent, the corporate shark, would have thrown money at the problem. Millions, even. But Clara didn't look like someone who'd be bribed. "I want your board to know," she said. "I want them to see this. I want them to know exactly who you are." "You'd ruin me." Clara's gaze didn't budge. "You ruined my childhood." Vincent stood, lips tight. The waiter approached again with the dessert menu, oblivious to the emotional fallout unraveling at table 8. "Get my driver," Vincent said curtly. "We're leaving." Clara didn't move. "You can't run from this." He turned toward her, his voice quieter now. "No, but maybe we don't have to destroy everything." Her eyes narrowed. "I'll make you an offer," he said. "One that clears your mother's name. One that gives you power. Not just hush money, real power." "I'm listening." Vincent pulled out a silver business card and slid it across the table. "Come to Leclerc Holdings tomorrow. Noon. Bring that document." "And if I don't?" He looked her square in the eye. "Then we burn together." The next day, Clara walked into Leclerc Holdings in a borrowed blazer and thrift store shoes. Security tried to stop her, until Vincent himself emerged from the glass elevator and waved her through. Board members watched with confusion as he escorted the mysterious girl into the executive suite. "She's the reason we're having this emergency session," Vincent announced. He took the stage in front of a long glass table lined with men and women in suits worth more than Clara's annual income. Clara remained standing. "This is Clara Winters," Vincent said. "She's the daughter of my late sister, Isabel. A woman I wrongfully disinherited." Gasps rippled through the room. Vincent held up the document she'd given him the night before. "This was altered. By me." You could have heard a pin drop. I was afraid of her exposing secrets that could have cost us investors. I forged an amendment to cut her out of the family trust. That decision allowed this company to thrive, but at the cost of my own family. Someone in the back whispered, "Why admit this now?" Vincent took a breath. "Because she's not here to extort us. She's here to challenge us." He turned to Clara. "You wanted to expose me. Now I'm giving you the floor." Clara's voice didn't shake. "My mother kept every receipt, every hospital bill she paid alone, every rejection letter stamped with your legal team's threats. But she also kept this." She reached into her bag and pulled out an old photo, her, age 5, at her mother's hospital bedside. She said, "You were born with nothing, so you'd know what everything truly means. That's why I'm here." The room was still. Vincent watched the board lean in, intrigued. "Give her a seat," he said. "She's not here to destroy us. She's here to remind us who we forgot." The vote passed. Barely. Clara, the girl who once begged for a bite of steak, was now seated at the boardroom table of Leclerc Holdings, with a minority share and full transparency rights. It was more than Vincent ever expected her to accept. But Clara wasn't done. 2 days later, she returned, not in borrowed clothes, but in a tailored blazer, documents in hand. She walked into Vincent's office without knocking. "You lied again," she said. Vincent looked up from his desk. "Clara, You said my mother kept the only copy of the original will. She didn't. I found a second one, from the estate lawyer. Sealed. With a clause you added, not just disinheriting her, but transferring her portion to a shell company. Your shell company." Vincent's face dropped. "I can't. You siphoned millions," Clara continued. "Money that would have gone to me and my mother. You didn't just erase her. You sold her future." He stood up, voice rising. "That was decades ago. I was trying to protect the company." "No," Clara snapped, stepping closer. "You were protecting your greed." She dropped a folder on his desk. Inside, forensic accounting reports, digital transfers, a signed confession from a former accountant. Vincent opened his mouth, but there were no excuses left. "I thought you came for closure," he said weakly. "I came for justice," Clara replied. "And this time, I brought my own pen." She handed him a legal agreement. "Transfer every cent from the shell company into the new Clara Winters Foundation. Or I go public, with everything." He stared at the folder, then at the girl across from him. Clara no longer looked hungry. She looked unstoppable.